December 2021 marks my 45th anniversary of my continuing martial arts journey. I started as a child and continued through high school as well as into my adulthood, being a student first. I studied karate, later changing to Shaolin 5 Animal Kung Fu. My interest in the martial arts actually stems from escape techniques. I was a big Harry Houdini fan, and I admired his ability to escape from most anything. But my interests were escaping from grabs, chokes, locks, from adults, or from bad people, not chains and safes. So Harry Houdini, along with the popular TV show at the time, Kung Fu, starring David Carradine, made me very interested in martial arts. Like many martial artists, I was a big Bruce Lee fan. I actually had this very black light poster on my bedroom wall as a child. A touring missionary came to a local church in my hometown and gave a demonstration of karate techniques and self-defense techniques. This fascinated me, and along with my father, who was stationed in Japan during the Korean War, he would often show me pictures of his time in Japan, and that was of great interest to me. I became a Japan fan long ago. Also, my uncle, who studied Taekwondo under the famous Jun Rhee in Washington, D.C., actually gave me my very first martial arts uniform. But there was no school in my town. Along with my interest in escape techniques from Harry Houdini and my interest in Bruce Lee's magical skills of Kung Fu, I needed a school, but there was nothing. Then the very first school came to Suffolk, my hometown. A real karate teacher from Japan. I was one of the first students of the very first school in Suffolk, Virginia. Mr. Ogawa talked about Japan and also made me very interested in Japan. He was an outstanding teacher, taught me discipline and fundamental skills and humility that I use to this day. His certificates had a picture of Mount Fuji on the middle of them, part of the logo. Unfortunately, the school started switching to kickboxing and stopped teaching in my hometown. I was never interested in the sports side of martial arts, but the practical combat side of martial arts and escaping techniques. So I went looking around for other schools. I tried Frank Cucci's school in Virginia Beach, Jeet Kune Do. I studied fundamental Wing Chun from Johnny Wong. Never becoming a teacher status, but just getting the basics. Then finally I found my teacher who taught Shaolin Kung Fu. He taught a very fundamental basic style of 5 animal fist Shaolin Kung Fu. The dragon, the leopard, tiger, snake, and crane. This is me about 21 years old doing a set that he gave me to practice, trying to teach me to be more fluid-like, as my karate days made me kind of a robotic type fighter. This is me only after a few months. Later, I continued my training and opened my own school in Suffolk, Virginia. The school had a big training area and a very close-knit group of friends and students. We also had a sushi bar I made in the front part of the school, and we would occasionally have Japanese sushi parties. I moved to Japan for 6 months originally to study martial arts. Unfortunately, because of 9/11 and other factors, my return was put off and then put off to eventually I have become a permanent resident of Japan. In Japan, my skills were already pretty good, so I took Iaido briefly, more or less as a sport and hobby. I continued my training in Japan, been featured on TV multiple times, and currently teach to this day. Also, some influences in addition were books, Taoji Kundo, and the Manual of Martial Arts by Ron Van Cleef. Ron Van Cleef was given the name The Black Dragon by Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was known as the Dragon, Ron Van Cleef, Black Dragon. We later became friends. As for Mr. Ogawa, my first karate teacher, well, he's still at it. Here he is at 80 years old. He's still practicing some 45 years later. Thank you for listening, and I hope many more years of martial arts journeys on my side.